incredibly excited about this place. I mean, it's obviously it's awesome. Very similar design and feel and amenities to the other premier areas that we have between the West Zone that's above us, the Yount South Club on the south side of the stadium, obviously our suites and other club areas. The success and the demand of this place, Masters Club, has really exceeded our expectations. It seats 640, and we've sold 600. IPTE has sold 633, so there's 7 seats left. There's some singles and some pairs if anybody's interested, but that has far exceeded even what we knew to be true as far as the demand for Clemson football, but let alone environments in premium areas like this. Certainly the ROI associated, the business case from a premium seating standpoint is understood, but the derivation from what this facility will do to help us pay for and add the other aspects to the project between the video board that we've talked about, and then even next summer with the phase for Lot 5 and the locker room and player areas down below. So this area, Masters Club, and the support and IPTE and the donors for it is certainly the fuel towards the balance of the $65 million investment here in football. So to be able to show it off, certainly for Saturday, let alone how we're going to activate this throughout the year and just add it to our portfolio of investment within Memorial Stadium was by design, and it's great to experience it as is. So really excited to kick this off. Obviously, with that sales success, we're already starting to think about what's next at the stadium. Certainly I've talked about for next summer, Lot 5, Tiger Walk, locker room area, but we want to continue to invest in the fan experience as we talked on over there, and that means premium seating because of demand and the ROI to it. But we've even walked through, as we walked over here, our concourse, the South Concourse, and obviously the other 3 concourses, North Concourse and the upper decks, going to continue to invest in those areas that would help support, in effect, all 80,000 restrooms, concessions, those type of amenities that are really important. Everybody will be able to experience video board, etc. 640 will be in here and in our other areas, but want to make sure that we're balancing premium investment areas that help with the ROI and the business plan, so to speak, with investments that help the full fan experience. And so that's going to continue to be the next steps for Memorial Stadium next year and beyond. And this is a great testament to the demand in the Clemson family.
I have a question about,
Yep.
we've seen the Tiger out here in Lot 5. What will Tiger Walk look like this year? And then what will it look like in future years?
Great. So this year, you're right. So we have it's a temporary statue on Alpha Perimeter Road, and so where we've added the bollards and the pavers, so the buses will actually pull off of Perimeter Road when they let off for Tiger Walk. So the team will be able to start Tiger Walk, and David, it'll effectively be similar to how it's been in years past, kind of walking down the middle of Lot 5, but purposely having the buses pull off of Perimeter Road that we think will help traffic flow. It's not going to solve the problems, but having the buses off of Perimeter Road as quickly as possible to allow the Perimeter Road to reopen and have that traffic flow is purpose. So that's going to be different this year. The buses will pull off of Perimeter Road. And then second part of your question, what does it look like next year? We're actually going to realign Tiger Walk, and Lot 5 will be totally repaved, retreed. We're actually going to have additional trees there compared to what's there currently, and relotted. And it's interesting, and we can kind of see it here, but from an architecture standpoint for campus, there's what's called an axis. And so if you go from Douthit Hills now in the College of Business through Tillman Hall and through really the middle here of Death Valley and the Oculus, and then down through Lot 5 and through softball, and then even to the Penley Clubhouse, if you look at Google Maps, that's all aligned and linear. And that kind of speaks to, and again, from an architectural campus planning standpoint, that's an axis by which a lot of what campus is designed in and around, and certainly here through our athletic facilities. So when the Oculus was built in 2015, that was in concert with Tillman Hall and this axis through the valley. And so the continuation of that, David, through Lot 5 is really interesting. You can maybe only see that if you pull up Google Maps, but from a campus planning standpoint, it's an interesting nuance that's intentional.
Graham, can you talk briefly about the additions to the indoor facility and the football complex?
Yeah, so thanks Trevor, two big, important, separate projects. One's 100 Yards of Wellness, which has been opened this fall semester for really fall camp. And it's really the combination of training rooms of sports med and wellness recovery. We've added physical therapy staff members to our staff in-house, not just for football, but for all of our sports. And then really the recovery sports science aspect and some of the equipment with it. So the 100 Yards of Wellness was intended to really combine all of those aspects physically, let alone from a staff and how we work together down in Reeves in football. We're going to extend that concept and the support services really with some work in Jervy. That's the next big project that'll have some effect. That will have effect for all of our sports. So we're really starting with football with it, and then here in the next months and years ahead, we'll have some extension of that for all of our sports. So that's one project of it. The second is the CAB, Clemson Athletics Branding Institute, which is really recognition from an NIL standpoint of how we support and give space and creative opportunities and rentable spaces for our student athletes to engage and really focus on NIL opportunities, which is obviously incredibly important for our student athletes here, let alone from how we create opportunities from a recruiting standpoint, et cetera. So those are the two big projects for Reeves. And we certainly later this fall are going to break ground on our women's sports expansion. We've talked about this a good amount, up by rowing for lacrosse and gymnastics and those women's sports as well. So that'll start this winter and really be under construction most of 2023.
Can you reiterate some of the features people will see on Saturday? I know you said it before, just now that you're mic'd up, can you kind of just reiterate what fans will experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So the new video board, which is 5x the size, lights, sound system, and so the theatrics of that, let alone Ring of Honor and the ribbons around it. So it's been a long time coming. The 10 years that the prior board was here served its useful life, and it served the Valley great. The interesting thing, while this isn't the biggest board by dimensions in the country, I think it's the 8th largest, but the proximity of the board to the field right above the hill, the proportionality of it, we think is the biggest in the country, so to speak, that you'll experience. And so that design and that experience for all 80,000, we're really, really excited about. And again, 3:30 Saturday, it'll be light like this, and so we'll experience it in some regard. Louisiana Tech game, week 3, 8 o'clock game, it'll be even different, and we feel like really excited about 25 seconds from an entry standpoint, and then some of the timeouts and fourth quarter videos and things like that throughout the game.
How important is the fan experience to you guys?
We are incredibly intentional about that, how we've actually reorganized some of our internal staffing from an administrative standpoint to align our operations and focus on marketing, in-game promotions, ultimately fan experience, and what that means like from a facility standpoint physically, let alone just the game flow and scripting. So we've taken steps internally to staff up and reorganize to have more intentionality around that. Just because COVID certainly changed so much of us socially, and it gave opportunities to stay home, on the couch, stay away, and the resounding return of Clemson fans. We've renewed about 97% of our season tickets, and I talked earlier about the demand and the sail through here for the Masters Club. So we have an incredible experience, tailgating experience throughout the game day, and so the intentionality that we'll continue to invest from a fan experience standpoint is very much by design.
And along those same lines, has there been any more discussion about allowing beer sales or alcohol sales?
There have not to this point, Matt. Yeah. I'll transition to just some comments on certainly the action from this morning with Coach Swinney, and then again, I know there's probably a lot of other ground we can cover, and happy to dive into it. Just excited and humbled to be able to have the contractual agreement, which feels transactional, but there's so much more to what the action is this morning for Coach Swinney's commitment to Clemson and us to him, his character, morals, ethics, how he leads Clemson football, and those 130 men on the current roster, let alone the former players, and his connectivity throughout Clemson football family is second to none. And we experience that, we feel it day to day, but I think actions like this today really just emphasize and further stitch together our support of him and how he leads that program in an incredibly changing environment that is college athletics, and the true north that he leads as a person, let alone as a coach and a leader for such a prominent program for Clemson University, let alone Clemson athletics, is a testament to this type of investment. Certainly, it was an effort for us to be proactive. The market's changed significantly over the past 9 months with a lot of coaching changes and coaching contracts, and so we called Coach. I called Coach and his representatives, not he to us. So that proactive, intentional investment and recognition of the changing market and prominence for us to continue to position him from a investment and a contractual standpoint was very intentional for me, specifically over these first 8 months of the job. And so the conversations, I know it's here, it's week 2 and was just announced, but this was not a hurry up and get something done because of the market and the changing market recently. It's been an ongoing, really smooth dialogue over the spring and summer Obviously, the support of President Clements and our Board of Trustees today is their formal action and show of support for Coach Swinney and for Clemson football. And that alignment that we talk about so much and have for the past decade here, this is a great example of that. And the support from President Clements and the board to show that to Coach Swinney, and just us emphasizing our continued investment in football. And we know that the business aspect of that and the ROI that football creates for Clemson athletics, let alone the community and institutional support and lift that it brings, today is just a double down on that effort and that proactivity that we've shown Coach here over this spring and summer. And so excited to officially announce it. It's been embargoed a bit. We wanted to make sure the timing was right, and to have this public show of support to him. Again, very intentional and a big day, a really exciting day for Clemson and for Coach Swinney, and just that reciprocity of the agreement. So happy to certainly talk on any details therein. I know we've provided some of those, but just that bigger picture view of the commitment beyond just the dollars and cents was absolutely the guiding light on this one.
How important was it to get him, to make him one of the top three, though, as far as per year salary?
Yeah, certainly the achievements. He's one of two coaches that have won multiple national championships. He's has the highest winning percentage of any active coach. So what he's achieved and accomplished certainly makes the market and quite frankly the negotiations really straightforward, if I'm being honest. And conversely, want to make sure we're investing and showing that support for Clemson for what's to come. And so the expectations that we're going to continue to invest in Coach Swinney and all aspects of our football program, this is certainly an example of that. So it's the look back, Will, that he's earned and has positioned himself to be at the top of the market, but then also a show of that commitment that we expect to continue to be there for Clemson football for years to come.
Did it help that you had Tony and Brent making a little bit north of $2 million each, that you kind of freed up some funds there? And then this isn't a great outlay of money. I mean, it's only going to be $1 million more this year, and 10 years from now, just $3 million more than the previous contract. So it's not like this great outlay of cash.
Yeah, I follow you, David, and have ultimate respect for the magnitude of this It's a $115 million contract. It's a lot of dollars. But to your point, is we've been committed to Coach Swinney, and he's been ranked in the top three for the last handful of years. Certainly a changing landscape in financial planning within college athletics and for Clemson. And so really a lot of the rigor that we've had over the past couple of weeks has been on our stress testing and the fiduciary planning of this commitment, because while it's an extended commitment from what it has been, it's balances within all 21 sports that we have and how we look to invest appropriately and within market. And so you're right, the financial analysis, and you all know my background coming to Clemson as the chief financial officer initially, that rigor from our staff and Kevin White and team has been strong, and really that's where our board spent a lot of time. They recognize the market, absolutely recognize the shared commitment and fit with Coach Swinney, want to make sure that this makes sense from a business standpoint for us, and so excited to stress that and be able to move forward with it.